Powered by Arkansas, for Arkansas. This is Inside Arkansas Live.
And welcome into Inside Arkansas Live here on this beautiful day here in the great state of Arkansas. I'm your host, John Neighbors, alongside Curtis Wilkerson and Andrew Ellis, and appreciate each and every one of you for making us a part of your afternoon this afternoon. Hopefully everybody had a wonderful weekend, as we're going to be recapping all the things that happened in the sports weekend. We'll do a vibe check of the chat presented by Basis Health. We'll do our best and worst of the weekend presented by Looper Auction and Realty. We'll also get into summer topics presented by Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. And of course, talk football, basketball, baseball, all the goings on in the sports world. But fellas, how we feeling here on this Monday after the final weekend of the month of July?
It's kind of an up and down start, I would say, to this Monday. Woke up and finished some Cold Stone for breakfast. Watched Happy Gilmore 2, but then I took my before and after photos. So, right now I'm riding high on the vibes, boys. I'm doing okay. It's good to have the band back together.
It's definitely good to have the band back together. Last week was got to be the longest week of my life, and not only because I missed you guys' beautiful faces, but that certainly was a part of it. But sometimes in life you just do something really stupid and make a very big public mistake, and you got to deal with it. And that's what I did. And one of the things that we pride ourselves on here at this show is being authentic, being real, and being honest, like being ourselves, giving it to you unfiltered. And we do that. And I think me personally, I take a lot of pride in that. But there's also a line, and I understand that I crossed that line and I let a lot of people down. And so I want to apologize for that. I also want to apologize to you two guys who were left kind of to clean up my mess in my absence there. And so, I'm sorry for putting you guys in that position. And, a lot of times, again, we try to be real, we try to be authentic, but that is not the same as saying literally whatever you want all the time, whatever's in your brain, whether it needs to be said or not, whether it should be said or whether people need to hear it. And I understand that. And so, again, I apologize to you guys, apologize to anybody who was listening, because and I'm sure there were a lot of people who listened that weren't like super offended or anything, but I also don't want people to watch or listen to this show and be like, oh, damn, is it going to be super raunchy? Like, can I listen to this with my kids in the car? Can I listen to this? Can I play this over the speaker at work or anything like that? And so I want us to have fun. I want us to, do our bits and everything without it going too far. And I understand that I crossed that line. And so I apologize to you guys, apologize to everybody who's listening that didn't appreciate that and for missing a week. Also, of course, want to apologize to everyone that we represent, because there's a lot of people that, put their hard-earned money towards supporting us, giving us this platform. And I understand I let those people down. So I want to apologize to our sponsors. But I look forward to moving forward, putting this behind us, and being the best version of myself. And I really am so thrilled to be back here with you guys, man. It was, like I said, the longest week of my life. But again, sometimes you make mistakes and you live and you learn. And so we're moving forward and we're rocking on.
That's right. And we appreciate you, Andrew. And we appreciate having us all back together once again and getting right in time for fall camp. So we're all going to move forward and get excited about that, because reportedly it does start this week. And so, we appreciate you and appreciate your awareness of it. And we're going to move forward, man, and get past it. So yeah, everything's going to be business as usual and getting back on schedule. And like I said, fall camp with it starting up, which we don't even know, guys, as far as the dates or anything like that specifically. But I think it's starting this week. It looks to be starting this week. It should be starting this week. I'm just curious of what that's going to look like, and if we'll have a chance to hear from Pittman or Ben Souders, as usually the strength and conditioning coach and everything. And so, I know it's this week. It's just a matter of we have no idea when it actually is going to end up starting and what it's going to look like.
I think it's going to be Wednesday and Thursday. But I'm just going off of tradition, or like recent years history here, because we don't have any communication on that front yet. Usually that email that's got like the whole fall camp schedule and everything, it usually comes out the Sunday night before the week starts. But maybe, I'm just thinking out loud here, like since it's Friday when you could technically start, because you get 29 days to have 25 practices before your first game. Like that's how the NCAA rules work. Maybe since that's on a Friday, that they're not so worried about sending out the email on a Sunday night. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure it'll probably come today or Tuesday and say, hey, we're going to chat with Ben Souders tomorrow, and you'll get to talk to Sam Pittman to preview camp on Thursday before they start or whatever. So that information is coming. I'm kind of starving for it though, because I want to know, are they doing things the exact same way that they have in the past, where you get to talk to every single position coach, the coordinators, and then you get, players every day? when are they practicing? Are they going to be doing the morning thing again? When do they shift to afternoons? When are those press conferences? Because that kind of factors into what we do over here. So there's a lot of anticipation. I know we're getting together. I'm peeling back the onion a little bit here. We're going to get together for a meeting of the minds one night this week. It would be nice if we had that information before we tried to put a plan together. We have a hard enough time getting organized as it is, boys. We need some info from the school here.
Well, I remember last week we were like, yeah, probably by the end of the day Friday, at the latest Monday, they'll send out that schedule. Here we are Monday. They have not sent it out. I'm assuming they will at some point. But, yeah, that's why I texted you guys about an hour ago. I was like, are we 100% sure they're, like, even doing fall camp? Like, they might just be skipping this year. Who knows? But it is always funny how that works out. But at least when we do get that schedule, we'll get the full every single day schedule, which is nice. And that's when the juices really start flowing. Once you get those report days, once you start seeing those before and afters, you start seeing those gains and all that, that's when fans can really start getting excited. And I would also like to get to join in on that excitement as well. But yeah, I don't know. I think it is kind of weird that we don't know at this point what the schedule is going to look like exactly. But like you said, Friday, that's what we know. We're planning on it Friday.
Yeah, and I'm sure it'll be a press release gets sent out. Who knows? Maybe it comes out during this show today. I mean, for all we know, it could end up happening that way. But I know that there'll be some things, of course, to look forward to and hearing back from that, from press conferences and all that, because it's also, maybe the whole team's changed as far as the roster goes, but the coaching staff itself has pretty much stayed the same. So there'll be some comparisons there and getting to hear from that. But I'm curious to ask you guys, not that there's anything new or really that's changed from today, from a week ago, from a month ago, or anything, but as far as you personally, what you're looking for, what's the storyline, what's fall camp going to be about for you? Is it simply just knowing things? Is it something specific about a group, a position, a player? Is it just the overall culture and vibe? Just what is fall camp going to be about for you?
Man, that's a tough question to answer. And here's the reason why, is because I fall into this trap every year. And so what I'm trying to do is go into it with an open mind. And I think I'm better about that this year than I have been in the past. But I'm not gonna sip the Kool-Aid one way or the other, because that by the way, that sipping the Kool-Aid thing, that was not a good thing when the people did that as a cult. But it could go either way, right? And so sometimes you hear, man, that offensive line is so much better, so much improved. And we've heard that and we're like, oh yeah, rock on. And then it just turns out the defensive line stunk. You know what I mean? Or you hear, boy, man, I'm really worried about those receivers. Well, the secondary was just good, and vice versa, because you're practicing against yourselves every single day. So I'm excited to hear who emerges at these positions where we have the huge question marks. Who's it going to be coming off the edge, opposite of Quincy Rhodes? Who's it going to be catching footballs thrown by Taylen Green? Who those standouts are going to be? But I'm not going to do the thing where I get sucked all the way in. I'm like, oh, but yeah, Tyrone Broden, draft pick incoming, baby. Here we go. No, I will not do it. But I am looking forward to getting more information. Hopefully we have a little bit of clarity. And what I'm going to be fascinated to see is what we learn from fall camp and how it actually translates into what we see on the field on Saturdays.
Yeah, I think if we sat here for an hour, we could go through like 100 different examples of, oh, you remember in 20 whatever, they said this guy was going to be awesome and he ended up sucking. And then, oh, you remember they said this guy was going to be awesome and he ended up being awesome. Like, there's plenty of examples of times where we actually heard a real inkling of something in fall camp and it came to fruition during the season. Like, those things do happen. But of course, there are also fall camp heroes who, like Terry Hampton is one that comes to mind, of like a guy that we just kept hearing about, and it really wound up not being a big story. And so everyone needs to be going in understanding that what we hear from these press conferences and what comes out of fall camp isn't always definitive. It's a little bit more definitive than whatever comes out of spring, though. I will say that. But I think if I'm looking for storylines, again, we have such little information. We just basically can go off of what they tell us, and so we kind of have our minds of how good we think they are at O-line, how good, what's our confidence level with D-line, linebackers, secondary, whatever it is. And I don't think we should be changing our stances that drastically based on fall camp, but I look forward to hearing kind of at least what the coaching staff feels. Like if they come out and say, hey, yeah, we actually think our D-line is better than our O-line, then we can kind of have that conversation and think about that. But if I'm thinking of position groups, would really, really, really appreciate them coming out of the first week of fall camp and saying, wow, receiver, we were worried about it. But man, CJ Brown is just an adult now. He looks awesome. oh, Cam Shanks, this dude is the most slept on receiver. Like, I don't even know if I'll believe it when they say it, but I at least want them to do the song and dance of, wow, these receivers are better than we thought. D-line, of course, is the position with maybe the least amount of depth on the team. Would love to hear some names of some guys that are improving, guys that we can believe in. And again, will that change our big picture perception of what those groups are capable of? It shouldn't, but I would just like to at least do the song and dance of fall camp. And so I'm looking forward more to just kind of individuals that catch the coach's eyes. And, maybe there's a couple guys on that D-line that we haven't talked about a ton, that might end up being like that Phillip Lee guy is one that I feel like I'm looking over a lot. Maybe we get some inklings of some of those guys being a little bit more stable than we thought. But I do just like to do the gymnastics of, okay, if the receivers are doing good, so secondary, are we bad? Like, what's going on? I can't wait to start that game where we start doing that transitive property.
Let me ask you guys a question just real quick, just to build off of that. You remember last year when we came into the season, came into fall camp, and we were probably on this very show, and it was like, oh, well, what's your biggest question mark? Like, what's your biggest red flag, your biggest concern? We probably all said, at least to some degree, yeah, linebacker, man, good. Like, I don't know. All these guys are gone. Paul dipped on them. Everybody who had a tackle last year is out like, this is crazy. They really think Brad Spence is just going to step up and do. Who is this guy from so-and-so? And then in fall camp, immediately, Sam Pittman and Travis Williams and all those guys are like, hey, listen, we feel like we're low-key loaded at linebacker. Like, it's our strongest, deepest part of the defense. And we're all sitting here throughout the entirety of camp going, really? You sure about that? And it turned out to be true. So that's not always going to be the case. That turned out to be true. Which position group do you want to hear that about this year? The one that they just really stumped for that would make you feel better going into the season?
Oh, to me, it's easy. Offensive line.
Line for you? Okay.
Yeah, because, it's the most cliche thing ever, but it's like if you have a great offensive line, it covers up so much. And because of the fact that there's so many new faces on this line and other guys went to go play for other schools that, are just as good, if not better than you. And you replaced him and you feel like it. And you're supposed to be the offensive line guru and all that stuff. I would feel really good if that ended up being the case where they're like, yeah, the O-line, man, it's a whole nother animal. We got the, McCrory from, he doesn't look like a redshirt freshman now. He's a big boy out there. He's looking as good as Frank Ragnow. Like, I don't know, something. But that to me would be the one that would really help me out a lot, because then the rest of it may take care of itself on the offense.
If the offensive line is good, I feel pretty confident in predicting that the Arkansas offense overall will be at the absolute worst average. Like, if the offensive line is stable with Taylen and his athleticism and, the run game should be pretty good if you have a good O-line. I just feel like with his playmaking and, what he brings in the run game and the threats there, it would give Arkansas a very high floor offensively. It's hard to have a bad offense if you have a good offensive line. You can look through football history, any level. It's rare that you see a team that has one of the better offensive lines in their league and they're not one of the better offenses. It doesn't really happen that way. And you see a lot of good quarterbacks who look bad behind bad offensive lines. But for me, it's D-line for me. D-line last year, I felt like, Curtis, you mentioned coming into the year, we had our perception of what each position group was and all that. And we were worried about defensive line. Really, I'd say that front seven together. And then in fall camp, we found out, hey, maybe you don't need to be worried about the linebackers. I kind of forgot about that. That was a great point. But for me, I felt like D-line might have been Arkansas's biggest deficiency last year, besides maybe the O-line. And then you're taking an NFL player off of that defensive line. You're losing your most experienced guy in Eric Gregory, a couple other contributors. I mean, Anton Junkaj isn't a big deal, but like he would have started for this team most likely. And so you're taking what was your worst position group and you're taking two of the best pieces off of it. There's going to need to be a lot of guys step up. And so for me personally, like fall camp, I would love to hear like three different defensive linemen, like one that they're an older guy they're blown away by of, man, Cam Ball's actually the best tackle we've ever had. And I'd also love to hear about one or two, like Charlie Collins is just this star now or whatever. Yeah. I'd love to hear some of that. And again, I don't even know if I'll believe it, but I at least want to hear it.
Yeah. Well, and also too, man, Anton Junkaj, I forgot about that guy completely already.
Be here now.
About his multi-sack game in the Liberty Bowl, bro. Like how could you forget that?
If Anton Junkaj were still on this roster like he was supposed to be, he would be the penciled in starter opposite of Quincy Rhodes over there.
Oh yeah.
Period.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember because it was around this time last year. What was it like? They put out that graphic of the highest rated defensive lineman in the SEC coming into the season, and Anton Junkaj was second. I'm like, I beg your pardon.
It's
like,
PFF. They do this thing where obviously PFF does their grades, which are always somewhat controversial. But like if you're playing it, like he played at Alcorn. If you had an 89.8 at Alcorn, when you transfer to the SEC, it's just an 89.8. There's like that's just how good you are at football. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
I cannot wait to get on Sunday mornings, do these post-game report cards, pull in those PFF grades. Man, I can't wait for that. I'm officially all back in on college. I've missed it. I'm ready, man.
That's one of our best Sunday morning traditions is right before we record, whether it's the accountability or what's the other one that we do? The grade
report card. Yeah, the grade
report card will always be, I'll just be sitting there reading it off. I'll be like, take a guess on so-and-so's. And he'll be like, 68. I'm like, 62. Good. Pretty good. We're just like guessing because it's a complete crapshoot.
Oh, man. Well, and I'll say this too for everybody out there watching and listening. I know you're not going to listen to me when I say this, but I'm just going to have to say it anyway for the sake of it. Watch these press conferences that we're going to be posting and everything, and watch it and listen to the coaches, because what they are going to say is what we are going to talk about. And so if Pittman or whoever says, this is really good, this is awesome, this is amazing, and then we talk about it on this show or wherever saying, hey, it's going to be good, don't get mad at us. We're just relaying the information we have. And what we have is what the coaches tell us. So if you want to get mad at somebody, go get mad at the coaches, because we're not going to be sitting here with Pittman's coming out and saying, man, we are really bad at the offensive line. And we're going to be like, no, man, the offensive line is going to be really good this year. It absolutely is. So just take what the coaches say and listen to it yourselves, and then get into the reactions and talk with us about it. But don't get mad at us when we're just relaying the message from the coaches.
John, I'm going to clip what you just said, and every day during camp before we get into these press conference clips, I'm just going to play it.
Yep.
Like PSA. Everybody listen to this. Okay, now let's get into it.
It'll be our new intro, like right before the press conferences. I'll edit it in there. Just that little thing. It's like warning, like just like almost like a PSA right beforehand, and just try to get the message out.
Honestly, it's going to be a disaster. You're 100% right, and I'm glad you said that, but it always is. Anytime we try to do the game where we're like, hey, listen, guys, we're going to, whatever they say, we're going to take them at their word, and we're just going to operate that way every single time. Like throughout the offseason, we did that with Sam Pittman, and by like January, it was unraveled completely.
Yeah. I mean, again, it's going to be exciting, though. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun to talk about it, and it'll be here. And once the schedule comes out, we'll be able to relay that to you, as well as a lot of the stuff we're going to be doing for this fall camp. But we're going to get into a lot of your chats. There'll be some other things that we should dive into as well. But want to remind everybody that we're presented by our friends over at BetSaracen. It's the #1 sports betting app in the state of Arkansas, and it's not even close. I know a lot of you are itching to get after it when you think about the Razorbacks and think about their over-unders and think about some of the games that they got coming up. And some of you are going to have those parlays for the college football season. It'll be here before you know it. You're going to have NFL preseason happening as well. We'll do it with the #1 sports betting app in Arkansas. It is BetSaracen. You can go online to BetSaracen.com, get to betting that way, or you can check them out on your iPhone or on your Android, downloading the app today. It's BetSaracen, Arkansas's #1 sports betting app. Okay, so we'll have a few of your chats talking about this, because there'll be some other things to talk about, because I guess it was being reported, at least Deion Sanders may be somebody that's going to be out for the year, and he's not. He did, however, have had a bladder tumor, which was cancerous, and it got fully removed. His bladder's gone, and now he's cured from cancer, as he said. So, jeez. I mean, last time I checked, guys, a bladder is kind of important to have, and you don't really want to have a cancerous tumor in it. So, side note, it's just good to see that happened and that he's going to be all right from it. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's glad to hear that he's on the other side of that for now, and recovered, healed. Like he said, he's I think somebody asked him if he was going to be really having to lean on his staff or whatever, and he was like, staff, man, I'm back. You know how Prime is, so that's good to hear. I saw somebody I guess he had a little joke about like, hey, if you see a porta potty on the sidelines, that's me. Like, that's why. So it's good that he's got a sense of humor about it. Good that he's healthy. Good that he's back out there with him. I heard a lot of that stuff this morning, and we talked about it right before we started. Like, dang, is he going to retire or step down or something here in the middle of this show? We knew that press conference was coming, and man, that's scary. That's, we had the Bill Self deal the other day, and then this with Prime. But it sounds like both of those guys are okay and will be able to continue on. And that's definitely good to hear. Crazy stuff though, man.
It's weird that this was kind of like kept under wraps. And so it's like, we're really hearing about it now that it seems to be stabilizing, right? Like, it's like, it's not like he's announcing like, hey, I'm about to go through this bad thing. It's just kind of happening. Right. But yeah, it sucks for Prime. I think I'm generally pro Deion Sanders over the course, and I'm not even like a huge Deion guy, like, because I know there's a lot of people in the media who like love Deion and like worship everything he does. I just think everyone else is so negative on Deion that I'm like, damn, I think I might be like a Deion guy now, just because I think he's good for the sport. I think obviously he was an electric player, one of the best ever, and I think he's just a guy that clearly loves ball. And so for all his flaws and all his whatever, like, that dude is he's a gamer, and I think he's good for sports. Like, I think people like him and people personalities like him are good. And future head coach Deion Sanders, hope he takes care of his business.
Yeah, let the record show that this is not an exaggeration. Arkansas did, and Hunter Yurchek sit down with for an interview of Deion Sanders to be the head coach at Arkansas before they hired Sam Pittman. I'm just letting you know that's not reports. No, like Yurchek said it. That happened. So
back when he was proactive,
Yeah. Back when you were thinking and all of that. But the only thing about it, real quick, is Deion. I know it's it has nothing to do really with Arkansas, but when he was it was at Jackson State, right? When he was there, it still cracked me up. That guy that they beat, and he was like, he's not swag. He doesn't understand it here. And Deion's just for like 5 minutes straight. Who's swag if I'm not swag? Who's swag if I'm not swag? Like, I just kept saying it over. I was like, man, this guy, love him or hate him, he's entertaining to the end, man.
To be fair, the Southwestern Athletic Conference is so illustrious and so big, John. You got to be real deal to fit the SWAC. I mean, they don't just let anyone in the SWAC.
Yeah, as we found out. But all right, getting to a few of your chats. Hey, shout out to old Carl Rockenhouse. Appreciate the membership, my man, and becoming a YouTube member. We're gonna have another member stream here soon, maybe this week. Once we may have to have our official, really in-depth meeting, big business stuff that happens first. And I'm sure we'll be like at a Marie Callender's restaurant or something to that extent with great cheesecakes. But we're going to figure it out and get it all done. But we'll let you know. But appreciate your membership and anybody that's a member of here.
They're calling this the most anticipated members-only stream of all time, John. That's what a lot of people are saying.
Yeah. I mean, listen, we got to give the people what they want, too. It's got to happen. I did like this from Evan. I forgot about this. And it is going to be curious if he says, is Sam naming a new captain for every game? And I'm like, I forgot about it. I remember, we sit here and we have discussions and opinions on everything. I remember when that happened in the moment. I'm like, I don't like that. I really didn't like that. Not that it really matters in the grand scheme of things. Maybe it has some impact, but to answer your question, Evan, I don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he doesn't, but weird.
It actually became a fun bit to try to predict them every week. So
it's true.
Why not? Yeah, go ahead and keep on keeping on.
What's funny is it really backfired because the premise of it is, hey, you get all these different people who get an opportunity to be a captain. But you remember when Joe Fouché was a team captain and left the team after the year, and we looked back and we were like, oh, damn, that aged poorly. But when you do a new captain every game, Luke Haz was a captain, Jalen Braxton was a captain, like all these different guys. It's like now it gives you a way to look back and say, oh, man, these aged poorly. We got a lot of flack last year for being like down on this idea. And we never said it was really that big of a deal. We just were like, I don't think there's like changes anything. Like, it's not going to impact the team's performance, but it's just a kind of a stupid thing. And people really didn't like that. But then there were also a lot of people who actually were like, it's ruining the team that they're doing this. And so it was a hard conversation to have.
I'm a purist from the standpoint of I think the C on the chest matters. You know what I mean? And and I get it. Like, even if you name a new captain every week or whatever, they're still the guys who emerge as the actual leaders on the team and all that. But I don't know. I think there's something to that title. I think it means something. And when you're passing it out to different guys every week based on who you're playing geographically that given week or something, it might mean a little bit more to them that particular week. But I think it takes away from the idea of being a captain.
I have the solution. You ready?
Yes.
John, I think you were about to say the same thing, maybe.
Probably, yeah.
Offensive captain, Taylen Green. Defensive captain, Cam Ball, Xavier Story, take your pick. Special teams captain, Devin Bale, Cam Shanks, take your pick. And then you have a rotating one. You have 4 captains every week. One is a rotating one. The 3 are like the ones set in stone. They have the C. And then the 4th one is, hey, we're playing here. Let's give the kid from Tulsa a shot. Hey, we're playing here. Let's get, like, I think maybe that's what we could do. That's our compromise.
It's a great idea.
See, yeah. Well, I was going to say yours was better and more specific, but I was going to say, yeah, have 3 designated captains for the year and then have the one rotating one. Because as you said, Curtis, it's like when I think of captain, I think of something that's a player driven thing. It's not oh, well, the coaches dictated this and like as if they're dictating who's the starting quarterback or whatever. It's like, no, this is a leadership of the team themselves that they voted on and elevated these particular individuals because that's what they think of them as peers. And I was like, that's to me is always means a lot more. Like it's one thing if the coach says it, but if you have the players who all, I guarantee you want to be a captain because it does mean something to them for them to have a vote. And then those particular players get voted on, it's an honor and something that you can't be like, why is he captain? Why did he get to be captain? I should be captain. It's like, no, y'all are the one voted on it. It's democracy. You get to vote and that's what happens. So, yeah, but appreciate you triggering us again, Evan, for that question and talking about the captains and the situation. But yeah, man, let's well, I'm sure that'll be the leadoff question for Pittman where we get to talk to him. Yeah, let's see. Also, Caden says O-line and defensive backs. He's talking about the position. He's like, got a hold of Phil with the Hudson Clark. No fly zone missing.
Yeah, people aren't talking about that enough, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's going to be the first
Clarks
year.
Don't just grow on trees, okay?
How many guys that are 4-year starters in the secondary in the SEC? Come on. But this is going to be the first year, I guess a 5-year starter, because this is going to be the first year you don't have under Pittman, you don't have Hudson Clark on the team. It's going to be crazy. So, no more 17 back there.
They will feel the effects of that.
Just telling you, as soon as there's a broken coverage, I got the tweets ready, and I'm going to be doing my victory laps.
Was Eric Gregory on every Pittman team as well? I think he was, but that's not a long list.
Yeah, yeah. Eric Gregory.
Maybe
those might have been the only dudes.
Yeah,
honestly, yeah.
We are now in a new era of Sam Pittman. We now have 0 ties to any prior eras.
Yep. It is just all there right now, where it's his team, his players. He's not relying on anybody else's. Also, Evan says, do you remember last year after the first scrimmage and there were 8 picks thrown? I vaguely do remember that.
I remember that. I remember it 100%.
That was a classic day, dude. That was classic. Which, by the way, that's who doesn't remember that? Any of the people who were Malachi Singleton worshipers all year long. Because that was the big thing. Because I think Pittman was like, yeah, that was the first time we put – and he didn't say Malachi's name, but he said that's the first time that we put our number 2 quarterback against the number 1 defense. Yeah, which is funny. And I remember thinking we were like, man, so we got a bunch of ball hawks back there. But it was pretty much they just did what they did in the Auburn game to themselves in that scrimmage. But yeah, that was a classic fall camp day. I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it was. I will never forget that one. The conversations we had, the mixture in the chat of panic versus. You're making too much of this, and we're just telling you the facts, man. Here's what they had to say about it. That was a crazy day.
That's honestly what fall camp has always been, and what it always will be. Is it means nothing, but it means everything. Like that's what it is. It means nothing, but it means everything. People are going to have their own reactions to whatever they want it to choose to be. So I can't
have those 2 scrimmages. They'll scrimmage on back-to-back Saturdays. The first day of the offense will win. We're concerned about the defense. Too many penalties. It's kept jumping off sides. Couldn't get any pressure on the quarterback. It was a mess. And then people freak out about that. Then the next Saturday, I'd be like, I got to tell you, man, the defense, now they won the day. You guys know how it is.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. People talk about the NBA is scripted or this is scripted, that's scripted. Fall camp is scripted. What they tell you about it.
Do you remember that time that he brought Trajan Jeffcoat up on the podium and he made him stand up? He's like, this is what an All-American looks like right here.
Yep. I remember that. Well, and it made me think.
He's right. That is what they look like. But
yeah, it made me think too of oh man, now I'm blanking on it. Oh yeah, the whole adage of, well, in fall camp, the defense is always further along than the offense. So I mean, it's it's expected. It's like is it? Because then if the offense is good and the defense looks bad, they're gonna be like, man, the defense is usually ahead of them. So that sure shows you how much the offense is really, really cooking out there. I mean, there's just going to be all these old adages that people are going to bring up, and it's going to be fun. It's going to be great just recapping it and hearing them and getting excited when Petrino gets up there and he gets asked about every single player on the roster, and then gives his very basic answer, just breaking it down, overthinking it. I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Let's see. I'll tell you what, we'll go ahead and do your Alumni Hall question of the day presented by Alumni Hall, since we're talking a little football. Not necessarily fall camp related, but it was just a bunch of random assortments that were put together. And we had a great time over at Alumni Hall last week. And it was a great place for all of your Razorback apparel. They have the new Razorback jerseys with Darren McFadden and Felix Jones. It doesn't have their names on the back, but it's 5 and 25. I think all of you know exactly who that is. So they got all those jerseys. They're going to have more jerseys coming in. They're going to have hats. They're going to have everything, getting you ready for the football season. And we're going to be there the Friday before the first game against Alabama A&M, doing another live stream. So check them out today. You can go to InsideArkansas.com/alumni hall. You can also scan that QR code and be sure to use HogsBuy20 for 20% off your purchase. There with InsideArkansas.com/alumni hall. So very simple. These were the scenarios I put out there. I couldn't put it on the graphic, so I'll just have to read it to all of you. But which one of these scenarios is most likely to happen for the Razorback football team this season? Beating a top 5 team, Taylen Green being first team all SEC, Hogs have shut out an opponent, or they walk off field goal for the win. Which one of those scenarios you think is the most likely to happen this season?
They're going to accomplish the shutout week 1.
Okay.
So I would go with that, followed by the walk-off field goal.
Okay.
I was surprised, and spoiler, I looked at the results when I voted.
Yeah.
I was surprised that nobody voted for the shutout. At least at the time that I voted for it, everybody was big on the walk-off field goal, which I think is possible because that could literally happen against anyone. It could be a 31-yarder. You don't have to have a good kicker to win via walk-off field goal. You don't even have to beat a good team to do that. I think the shutout could happen against, like you said, week 1. They literally could do it. I'm still going to go walk off. I don't know. I'm going shutout, actually. I think it's more likely.
Well, I agree with the shutout over the walk-off field goal because I was thinking about it. And we'll talk about this in the summer topic, so I don't want to get too ahead of it. But Arkansas has not had just a ton of walk-off field goals for the win. They've had times where they could have, but they haven't had many. And in fact, just 3 or 4 of them pop up in my lifetime, really. So, it's rarity there, but that is what's leading the way at 62% is a walk-off field goal. 18% in second is beating a top 5 team. People think it's more likely that Arkansas would beat a top 5 team than shut out an opponent, or, of course, dead last is Taylen Green getting first team all SEC. But still, I think that was kind of funny seeing that. Maybe that should just be the question tomorrow between those two. What's more likely, beating a top 5 team or Hogs shutting out an opponent? Apparently, people feel like it's more likely that Arkansas is going to beat a top 5 team. So,
Well,
they did both last year. They did both of those last year. So,
yeah. Well, let's talk about that for a second. Who are the top 5 teams that Arkansas is going to play? Because Ole Miss won't be there.
No,
Notre Dame.
At the time you play them. Notre Dame might, but they're probably going to lose the week before you.
Notre Dame's undefeated, they will be, but they might not be undefeated.
Yeah,
right.
Texas probably.
So you're going to win at Texas or at LSU, and that's more likely than shutting out Alabama A&M. I don't know, man.
I mean, just mathematically speaking, how many all-time wins over top 5 teams? Arkansas's probably got 15, 20 of them or whatever. How many shutouts does Arkansas have in their program history?
I don't know.
Probably 15, 20 or whatever. And how many times have they won via walk-off field goal? I feel like walk-off field goal might be lower on this list because, how many times that happened? Like you said, John, in program history, I know Cam Little hit one or whatever. There's been 5 maybe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was looking at it just to give, at least in my research of my lifetime, I'm sure people will be like, well, 1972. It's just here in the modern era, the SEC era, the ones that came to mind was the Cam Little one in 2021, Connor Lempert beating Ole Miss in 2017 with getting the 3 timeouts called in a row. Alex Tejada against ECU in the Liberty Bowl, which was cold as can be, hitting that one. And that's pretty much it.
Missed that one against LSU. Arkansas's had some walk-off field goal losses.
Yeah,
Arkansas probably had more walk-off field goal losses in terms of the opponent hitting them and the Mississippi State game, them getting theirs blocked or whatever.
Yep. Oh yeah. Between that and then the the Texas A&M doink off the top of the upright thing, and there's a lot of those rough ones.
Okay.
But still.
So I guess this is new.
The roster?
The coaches poll. I guess that came out today. It says updated July 28th, 2025. That's today, right?
It is today. Yeah.
So at CBS Sports, the coaches poll, I guess maybe it just came out. I don't know, but it's got yeah, I don't think this is right.
Why is
No, I don't think it's right. I think this is last year's deal. Yeah, it says that it's updated, but it's all of last year's playoff teams and stuff. So like, I'm not buying it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I don't like know. Notre Dame's 2 on this one. Well, there's a reason why they're 2 because it's just based off last year's deal. It says it's updated, but it's not.
No. Well, still, the point is like I think. How about this? We'll take it one step further before we move on. What's going to be the most likely opportunity they're going to have to beat a top 5 team, as in play a top 5 team in general, or be in a position to have a walk-off field goal for the win? Like, because, you have to be in those situations. And in those situations, a lot of times it's not your decision. It's not like you set yourself up. Top 5 team, we have no idea. It's like it could be, maybe. I mean, given the schedule, you think you're going to play at least one, but that's your one opportunity. Then walk-off field goals, like you also have to be in a position against some team to walk it off and win it. So which ones do you think is more likely there will even be an opportunity for?
So I would go Notre Dame for the most likely, them beating a top 5 team. I'm not predicting for you it's going to happen. I think of those options that we talked about, like the Texas, maybe LSU, maybe Notre Dame, I think Notre Dame is probably the most beatable. Hell, they lost to Northern Illinois in like week 3 last year or something like that. Like they had a really stupid early season loss. So I could see something stupid like it's not going to happen, but like them beating A&M week 1 and being like number 4 in the country, coming to Fayetteville and then just losing. That would be pretty funny. In terms of the walk-off field goal, Mississippi State is a team that I think Arkansas is going to beat. I'd like to think they don't need a walk-off field goal to win that one. Maybe Auburn. That's another team to be close. You're in that same range with. A&M, dude, every Arkansas A&M game is extremely close. So I think that's got to be a candidate for a walk-off field goal. But, yeah, I don't know.
Well, how about this? I think you're going to be in a situation where I feel like if you're going to beat a top 5 team, it will be because you walk off in a field goal for the win.
And you shut them out, so it's 3-0.
Yes, that's right. All of them happen. And Taylen Green becomes first team all SEC when that happens. I mean, it's all going to come together at once. But, man, yeah. I hope, and honestly, truly, I hope that Arkansas is in a position to hit a game-winning field goal, not against Alabama A&M or something like that. But, I want to see that happen because you're going to have, I guess, Scott Starzik out there lining it up, see if he can make it happen. And, I'm just telling you guys right now, as you guys know, kickers, it's always about their head case and everything. What is the way you can project if a kicker is going to be really good or not for the rest of his career? It's his freshman year, his first year as a starter. Because if he, like Zach Hawker, was not to say he hit a game winner his freshman year, but he was solid. So it gave him that confidence. Same thing with Cam Little. He was solid his freshman year. First year starter, Scott Starzik, assuming he's the guy, man. If he goes out there and it's not good to start, man.
There's not a ton of development that happens with kickers, right? It's like you can get older, confident, all that. Maybe you get a little bit stronger, but it's like, yeah, that's a good point, though. Like if you stink as a freshman, it's rare that you see a kicker stink as a freshman and then wind up being really good.
Dude, I can see the Starzik Stonks thumbnails on Inside Arkansas already. I can already see them.
By the way, I want to re-answer the question because I just remembered Arkansas is definitely going to win via walk-off field goal against Memphis. That's the walk-off field goal.
That's the most likely scenario.
31-28 at Memphis.
Yep. I'll man. Like that'd be cool.
I'm not going to complain too much about it. I mean, if they beat Memphis, I know it's probably not going to be a big win. It's not going to be like a easy one. I know it's going to be weird. If they beat Memphis, I'll be all right with it. I'm not going to complain too much about it. That'll be the best mood I'm in a post game because I know everybody's going to be freaking out. I think I'm going to be all right with that.
Yeah. At this point, you can't just sit here and complain about how you win, especially on the road. You just take the wins and you're going to like it. You're just going to have to deal with it. All right, let's go ahead and get to some more of your chats here on the show, folks. A reminder that we're brought to you by our friends at Basis Health, where they are changing the way that healthcare is delivered by providing mobile medical visits to the comfort of your very own home, where a doctor will come to your home for urgent care, primary care, IV hydration, and so much more. It's Basis Health. They are here for you when and where you need them the most. You can learn more at basishealth.org today. All right, so continuing on with some of your chats here. Mark, man, he's drinking this Kool-Aid, my man. I'm stuck on 9-3 this year. Am I crazy? If you're talking about the first 12 games of the basketball season, no. But if you're talking about the 12-game regular season schedule for the Razorback football team, I'm not going to say you're crazy. I'm just going to say you are over the top, ridiculously optimistic.
Yeah, optimistic is a good word. You're a fan.
Yeah.
You're excited for college football, and your level of optimism outweighs, the level of evaluation that most people have on this team. But it's okay. And I understand how people can look at the path and get there. It's if everything breaks right for you, like, oh, Notre Dame, this is the SEC, man, right? Ole Miss, you got the young quarterback that's unproven, and you catch him early. Oh, Tennessee, that Nico left. That it's gonna be a mess over there. Oh, you finally get the Aggies at home. Yeah, it's just like one thing after another that would have to fall your way for it to work out. Arch Manning's overrated, whatever. But yeah, you can talk yourself into most of these games in some way, shape, or fashion and be like, crazier things have happened. They're not going to be as good as people think they are. But then the flip side of that is you would need, all of those things to go in your favor. Then Arkansas would also have to be substantially better than most people think they're going to be.
So I'm going to say, yes, you are crazy, but here's why. I'm not shaming positivity. I'm not shaming optimism. The reason I say you're crazy is because you're stuck on 9-3, meaning like you're having a hard time. Because I've been there before, and Curtis, I'll call you and I'll be like, man, I don't know if I see 7 losses here. Like, I don't know if I see 5 losses or whatever. The fact that you're stuck on 9-3, meaning like you're having trouble seeing paths to other outcomes worse than that. That's why I think you're crazy. It's like, if you like, I'm not saying like, listen, even if you like think Arkansas is going 7-5, 8-4. Even most of those people, like I see a lot of people like Heartbroken Hog. I think he's pretty adamant about 7-5. Even he would be like, I can see the path to 5-7. Like I know how it would happen. So that's why I think you're crazy, Mark. But I don't think saying, hey, my team's going to outperform expectations and have a great year. That's not crazy at all. Like you say, Curtis, that's just being a fan. But you got to at least see the path for how it would not happen. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. And
I need Mark to tell us who the 3 losses are. I'm guessing at LSU and at Texas. And I wonder what the third is.
Missouri, probably. Just why not?
Oh, could you imagine a 9-0 start and then
dude, that would lose the last nuts. That'd be like 06 type stuff.
They'd be number 1 in the CFP polls and everything, and then you just drop 3 straight. And
I don't even want to think about it. Oof. It'd be a fun 9-game stretch. I can tell you that.
They'd still send you to the Liberty Bowl because
Yeah, because you'd rather go there than go over that stupid state of Florida and playing a bowl game. I mean,
he said at LSU, at Texas, and Tennessee. Okay, those 3 road games. All right,
yeah, that's fair,
dude. Okay, Tennessee is fascinating. One, did you see their fans freaking out over their quarterback's media day photo?
Yeah,
that was inappropriate. But I feel like Tennessee's the team. Whoever you talk to thinks Tennessee's like the best team in the country, or they're like completely overrated and they're going to suck. I'm excited to see where they land on that spectrum.
Seems to me like they're going to be the exact opposite of what they've typically been. Like they might have like a really, really nasty defense, but their offense seems pretty questionable for Josh Heupel standards, I guess you could say.
Their defense was underrated last year. People talked about their offense all the time, but it's like a lot of their best wins, they play great defense.
Yeah. Well, and I'll take it one step further because I think, what was it? Sam Pittman it's like 6-18 or 7-17 in his 1 possession games as head coach of Arkansas. I'm going to say this, guys. Arkansas, I'm not saying wins or losses, but Arkansas is going to have 7 games this year. It's 1 possession, 7 games. So that's a little bold prediction that no one's going to remember. But I have a feeling that they'll lose more than they win, but they will be in 1 possession games. And probably, and who knows, maybe one of those 1 possession is Arkansas State and Memphis and all of that, maybe.
Or at least one of those is going to be, I mean, they're good for that every year. Even last year, remember how close that UAB game was? And we were like, wow. But they won. And then the Louisiana Tech game, they wound up winning, I guess, fairly comfortably. But for the longest, we're like, good grief, man. And then they won. So, yeah, they'll have some of those for sure. And then, like you said, they'll go play, Texas on the road to a 3-point game or something. And,
that's what they do, man. Just nothing makes sense. Nothing will make sense in what they do. Trey says, do we think Pittman can even win 9 games? Big question is how he will play at home. Last several years, it's been bad. Also, penalties. Pittman's teams always have a lot.
I would remind you that He has won 9 games before in a season. Now, this is very different circumstances, different players. But like he can do it. He has done it. But I think this is a good point though, in terms of like, because again, it comes down to these one possession. It comes down to if you're going to have a year like that, you have to get a lot of breaks. And that's one thing that Pittman's teams don't do is put themselves in position to get a lot of breaks. But I mean, listen, anything can happen in college football. Like we have these preseason views of how all these teams are going to do. The case for it would be a lot of those teams just being worse. So I mean, there's a path, but you're definitely right about the fact that Arkansas is probably not going to help themselves in the turnover department, help themselves in the penalty department, help themselves in the special teams department, and those usually are how you overachieve as a team. Well, that's what Missouri's been doing for like 3 years now, of just like never losing games they're not supposed to lose. You know what I mean? Just doing all the stuff you're supposed to do. That I do wonder if Arkansas has that kind of capability.
One thing I will say in defense of Arkansas fans who are like, they're underrated, 5.5, this is crazy, 14th in the SEC, what the heck? I just think that it's harder than ever to accurately, and it's never been super accurate, but like project what teams are going to be. With the transfer portal era and the turnover on rosters, and Arkansas being such a striking, glaring example of like how crazy it can be. What did Sam Pittman say at media days? 57 new players, or it was something ridiculous that's going to be on this roster. So that's scary. There's a lot of unknown. And when you have that and that unknown doesn't come with a whole bunch of like proven track record SEC type of guys, you're just going to get picked low. It doesn't mean that has to be the case, but I fully understand why they are there. But for the people who are like, oh, those rankings are a crapshooting, nobody knows. Well, you're kind of right.
Yeah. David also just says Arkansas will get to 7 wins this season if blank. To me, it's if Taylen Green ends up being the upside ceiling, staying healthy, but to me, being that guy that is just so tough to plan for, and he truly makes that step that people are hoping for under the Petrino system for a second year. I know that there's a lot of pieces to it, but to me, I think if Taylen Green ends up being that guy, which could or could not happen, I feel like that would be good enough to get you to that 7-win mark. I don't know if you mean regular season and counting a bowl game. I don't know if it even matters, but to me, that would what would it count down to.
That's kind of where my brain's at. I think the health of Taylen Green is like the number one priority. Like if you can guarantee me not only that he's healthy and available for all the games, but also that he doesn't wear down throughout the year. Because I mean, KJ, who is 6'6", 250, we saw him wear down throughout the year, handling such a load in the run game. Taylen, by the way, they in the updated roster, his updated weight, 235 pounds, 6'6", 235. Yeah, you know, he's put on a little bit, but like not like a not all of a sudden like a locomotive. I think he would have to take on like a pretty big role in the run game, which I do anticipate he's going to do. And then he also has to be able to do it week in and week out, which we really didn't see last year. And again, it's not a knock on Taylen. It was just kind of how it played out, suffered some injuries. But like that LSU game was a game that they played at home. I don't even know if he had a designed rushing attempt. There were multiple games last year where he didn't even factor into the run game at all because he couldn't. And so I think Arkansas is going to win 7 games. Not only do they have to beat some teams they shouldn't have beat, they need Taylen to like really take on a lot of workload in the run game, because I think that would give Arkansas a pretty high floor if he's running the ball 15 to 20 times a game.
Also, to throw into it, like he has to have a play. I guess was it Oklahoma State? I know it's going to bring up Broden dropping the ball, but like those plays where he's on the run and he just throws a dime that, you know, not to say that he does it all the time, but just have those really incredible plays. Like even the Isaac TeSlaa play from that A&M game, which I know we posted on Inside Arkansas on social media, but I'm like looking back, I was like, dude, that was an incredible play and throwing across his body on the run, hit him right there in stride and took off. It's like, man, if you get more of that Taylen Green, where even if teams got good defense and getting after him and he still makes plays with his legs, like, I mean, those are the type of plays that make difference in those big games too. Unfortunately, it just didn't make a big difference in that Texas A&M game. That's usually how it goes. All right, so we'll have more chats as well, and of course, get into our best and worst of the weekend. But I want to remind everybody that we're presented by our friends over at Hickey and Hull Law, where divorce and custody cases, they're important. They're extremely important. You know that. I know that. The American people know that, and it's tough to try and face it alone. Well, luckily for you, Hickey and Hull Law provides you with that persistent and diligent representation, help guide you through the entire process because they've handled thousands of these family law cases and experienced nearly every scenario that has ever come up. We know that they take on every case that and then going to show you that it's important to you because they strive to give each and every one of those cases the utmost time and care that it deserves. So Hickey and Hull law offices across the state of Arkansas, their locations are in Fayetteville, Little Rock, Fort Smith, Mena, and you can also call them today at 479-434-2414. That's 479-434-2414. Or you can check out their website, hickeyandhull.com, or scan the QR code at the top right corner of your screen. It's Hickey and Hull Law. Things are about to get better. Okay, a few more chats here. Good grief, people. Let's see. We got this from Caden. Wanted to bring this up. He said, did y'all see that photo of Dazmin James transforming into a beast at UCLA?
I did not see that, no.
Yeah. This is just the newest thing. This is him. I don't think it's UCLA. I think it's Cal, but close. Same colors and everything. So yeah, apparently, guy was eating his creatine and protein shakes and got bigger. So there you go.
This is literally the difference in me pre and post Cold Stone breakfast this morning. I don't know why everybody's making a big deal out of it. What's the conversation here? Like, I'm very confused. I'm just kidding. It's I mean, come on, man. He's got he has, celebrities and professional athletes from all walks of life and all kinds of people commenting on this. It's the most controversial thing in the world. I can't wait until we get to ask Ben Souders about it.
My thing is, and I really want people to walk with me here. What do y'all actually think happened here? Do y'all think he added 25 pounds of muscle in 5 months? Or do you think he took a before and after photo, really tried to not flex, not stick out his muscles at all, and then went through summer, got a little bit stronger, got in a little bit better shape, and then in the right photos, clearly, he's flexing, he's at a little bit different angle, trying to make himself look big. Like, I think people would be stunned if you went to your mirror right now and you tried to take 2 photos and you're like, all right, let me look as fat as I can in this one photo, and then let me suck in and look as strong as I can in the next one. Now I look, you'd be stunned by how different you look. Curtis, as a fight fan, 24 hours, a man can look vastly different. Some people,
yes,
some people have different body types. Athletes are weird, man. But do y'all really think he weighs 30 pounds heavier? I would say, I'm going to say maximum 10 pounds of weight gain happened here. Maximum. And I think it's probably closer to 5 or 6.
Yeah. I just laugh because, again, we're talking about just a before and after picture, but you can tell in the first one, he's got his shoulders back and his arms are kind of like a parallel. And then the other one's kind of like this. So it's you're going to look different when you do those things. So transformations are cool and all. There's a little bit more to football, of course, is skill set. And who knows, maybe he ends up being great because of it, but I don't know. Yeah. I just think it's really funny how sometimes you see these transformations and it's just like, man, if you put in the work, you eat your supplements and get to the gym. It's amazing what you can do in 6 months if you're dedicated to it. So,
right. Yeah. And people have been saying everything from it's a super old photo from January, or, it's enhanced. Oh, it's AI, whatever. Dude, I don't know. But that seems very extreme. And yes, anytime you do before and afters, the before, you either try to look as skinny or fat, as possible, depending on what your end game is there. And then, you're going for the striations and, flexing everything you possibly can in the next one. I will also say it was the end of the season, right? You go through the whole year and running cardio, everything like that. You're actually going to be a little bit lighter at the end of the season, normal. And then you bulk. You know what I mean? You go through the weight program, you're eating, you're getting your weight up because going into camp, you're probably going to lose some weight. So you want to be able to handle that appropriately. So 25 pounds or whatever they're saying, that seems like a lot. I'm sure he put on good weight, put on good muscle mass. This is probably an extreme depiction of what actually went down there. But I also don't think it's this big, indictment on Ben Souders or whatever people were trying to make it into. Oh, that's what you get at Arkansas versus Cal. I promise you that the resources, the nutrition, the strength and conditioning staff at Arkansas in the SEC is at bare minimum comparative to what Cal has at their disposal. It's crazy talk.
You're 100% right, Curtis. And look, there's a reason why. And you make a great point on how at the end of the year, obviously, that's probably the lowest you'll be. And then, I think you hear it all the time, football players who are like, oh, damn, I actually lost too much weight during the year. I needed to, gain a little bit more. Obviously, more with like people on the line and stuff. There's a reason why every single program, every summer, at the end of summer, they do this stuff. Yes. They do this thing of, hey, show their transformation, because literally every athlete, if you're doing what you're supposed to do in the offseason, will look different by the end of the offseason. By the way, I'd looked it up just now. I don't know how updated Cal's roster is, but last year at Arkansas, Dazmin James' listed height and weight was 6'2", 195, or 196, sorry, 196. Okay. At Cal, again, I don't know how updated. Maybe this was his updated roster, they have him at 6'2", 195. So they actually have him losing a pound. So, and again, maybe they'll update it next week and it'll be 231, maybe. Yeah. But I think we're talking about a guy flexing versus a guy not flexing is my final stance on this topic here.
And he looks like in the photo on the left, he looks, I think, quite a bit lighter than 196, and then on the right, he looks quite a bit heavier. That's hilarious that they had him at 6'2", 190. I should have looked that up. That's funny. That's pretty good.
It's going to be the same controversies like Trevin Brazil and Malik Ewan and all those weights. It's like, nope, that's not true. But you have them listed at someone's lying here.
By the way, not for nothing, the guy plays wide receiver. Like, do you really want your wide receiver to be like 240? Obviously, Megatron's an example, or there's some DK Metcalf type guys, but it's like, would adding a bunch of muscle necessarily turn Dazmin? Like, he's a guy that's known for his speed and all that. Like, I'm good for him looking a little lean,
Yeah. Well, that's my thing is I'm like, wide receivers don't usually bulk up like that because the guys you mentioned, they were just already big. Like Traylon Burks was already big no matter what. But, I don't know. I guess remember when Trey Knox was skinny, scrawny, and then he became a tight end and he added stuff like that would make sense. But the rest of it, no.
Brock says he probably took that second picture after working out. Your muscles swell up with more blood flow and look bigger. Yeah, I mean, the picture on the left, there are levels to this, right? He could have just got out of the sauna, and he kind of looked like he was a little bit, depleted, like dehydrated or whatever, versus, end of the strength and conditioning program at your school and fresh off a pump, We've all done that, boys.
Yeah. We all do our push-ups before, if we know we're going to go out and we're going to see some people, we'll do a few little push-ups.
You think John just throws on the DJ Wagner jersey and just no. There's a process to this.
He rocks he hits those crunches in Alumni Hall. He just
right.
Yep. I put my feet up on the stairway and I do the incline push-ups, to really get the top side of the pops up here. Yeah. Cause I'm that guy, but I'll tell you what, who knows, because we got a producer Michelle also decides not life to be a personal trainer, but she says, as a personal trainer, you can gain 25 pounds of muscle in 5 months, but this is a little extra. So that's a professional talking, folks.
Yeah, so dude,
in mind.
He got after it. He looks like Derrick Henry. It's crazy.
I mean, me and Curtis talk about it all the time, how crazy it is. The fighters that will literally on Friday morning will weigh in at 185 and then will show up on fight night 36 hours later or whatever, and will be 215 pounds. And that's not an exaggeration, because obviously, you're cutting weight, water weight, blah, blah, blah. I mean, some people can fluctuate 7 pounds in one day just off of what they eat, so there's ways to do it. But I think it's hilarious how people really saw this and were like, this is proof that something crazy is going on with Ben Souders in Arkansas, and it's a sign that Sam Pittman sucks.
Yep. I mean, it's just, you can't argue the logic, man. The proof is in the pudding, before and after picture of their bodies. So, but we'll have more of your chats and everything too, folks. But we're also going to have to get into course to our segment of best and worst of the weekend, presented by our friends over at Looper Auction Realty. Because let's be honest, why would you wait months or even years to sell your home in the traditional way? At Looper Auction Realty, they offer a faster and smarter option where you sell your home at auction with no repairs, no contingencies, no drawn-out negotiations. You get to set the terms, and buyers compete, as well as you walking away with a firm closing date. Whether it's your home, an estate, or investment property, the auction method puts you in control and gets it sold fast. So call Looper Auction Realty at 479-996-4848. It's 479-996-4848. Or visit looperauction.com. It's Looper Auction and Realty, sold in 30, closed in 30. So, all right. So for best and worst of the weekend, I know we'll have into this, and anybody, you in the chat have a best and worst of the weekend, go ahead and throw it in there as well. But I'll go ahead and kick it off with this particular picture that I was going to bring up, but I don't have it up yet, but it's going to just take me a second here real quick. Here we go. I just thought this was pretty cool. The fact that Nick Luttrell of THV11 realized that how cool is this? Former Hogs and Arkansas natives, Devo Davis, Devontae, as well as Nick Smith and Bobby Portis. They showed up to the Who Run It event in Little Rock and were taking pictures, signing autographs and all that. Like, we see this a lot, but it's always cool to see, something about being from Arkansas and then, of course, being Razorbacks. I mean, you think about Bobby Portis, and the guy didn't take visits anywhere else. He wanted to be a Razorback and is obviously in the NBA doing well. Nick Smith, I don't care what anybody says about it. He was one of the highest, if not the highest rated player to come out of the state of Arkansas and forever, was a Razorback and still comes back. And then Devo Davis, who transferred away from Arkansas in his final year and still coming back. Like, all these guys have different journeys and different things like that. But I just think it's really cool whenever, people can say what they want or have their own feelings about the way things ended here or whatever, but still giving back to the community, still giving back to their area of where they grew up, and just once again shows the type of incredible talent that continues to come and be produced from the state of Arkansas on the basketball side of things. So I just thought it was really cool, the fact that they were able to do that.
That is cool, man. I saw a little clip of Nick Smith in a Sylvan Hills jersey giving out buckets out there too. So imagine that, being at one of these events like this was really cool. I was seeing some of the it's like a bunch of the towns there in Central Arkansas and around, and just some players who've been in there in the past, and some of them just like high school legends, others guys who went off and played D1 ball or whatever. It was actually really cool how that was done. And it's like Nick got out there and mixed it up a little bit, man. So good on him. But yeah, it's always cool when they do that. And it's awesome when those guys come back, because it's easy to leave little Arkansas and forget about them, but these guys don't do it. And I appreciate that for sure.
You know what I remember? I remember when whenever Nick Smith was about to commit, and Devo posted a video of him singing, and he was like, I've got a feeling that's a night's gonna be. And we all knew what it was about. But it's just cool because like those guys obviously grew up together. I know Devo's older, but it's just cool to see guys from the same area bonded through ball.
Yep. It is cool. And also too, I was going to make the joke, like Nick Smith, didn't he like play for 4 different high schools in Arkansas? So like he could have had to pick his poison there. I feel like he played for Parkview, played for Sylvan Hills, played for North Little Rock. I could be wrong about it, but I felt like he did kind of jump around a little bit.
He did bounce around a little bit. Well, it was the whole controversy after he committed to Arkansas, and then he was trying to go play with Khalil Ware at North Little Rock, and the AAA was like, "Nah, fam, we're not going to let you do that." And well, they got changed. That got overturned pretty quick. But.
Same thing like what happened with Derek Fisher and the Lakers and Chris Paul and all that. Same concept.
Exact same thing. Yeah.
By the way, in hindsight, pretty crazy high school team. Obviously, there's high school like prep academies and stuff that have 7 D1 players or whatever. But like Khalil Ware and Nick Smith Jr. in their senior years of high school, like that's actually probably one of the best high school duos the state of Arkansas has probably ever seen, right? I mean, that's unreal. Because Khalil Ware is like a legit NBA player.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And there was at least one, maybe 2 more guys that went and played D1 ball. Multiple guys who wound up playing college ball. At least one that played Division I has been at Wichita State. So it's that was a low key a banger of a team. And they still played the state, whatever, but they would also go play. Like they went to the City of Palms things where they were able to, play some of those teams down there, the Link Academies of the world, and some of those preppish whatever schools. So it's good for them, man.
Shout out to Moses Moody, who actually was on, my opinion, the best high school basketball team ever, with Cade Cunningham, Dayron Sharp. Who else was on that team? There was like literally, I mean, they had dudes coming off the bench who were like top 50 guys. It was unreal.
They were stacked, man. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so that was my best.
Okay. My best will, let's see. Let's stick with the basketball front. I'm going to talk about this obviously in depth on the Pot at the Palace, but man, Cal is just continuing to build towards what's going to be an elite looking 2026 class. And, you look at it and it's like, okay, you've already got JJ Andrews, the Peach Jam MVP, and he's committed to you. Great. And then you've got the number 1 combo guard in the country and Jordan Smith Jr., the number 2 overall prospect, scheduled for a visit. Okay, great. The number 1 point guard in the class, another 5-star, Taylen Kinney, scheduled for a visit. And then last night, officially got put on the schedule there, Arifan Dian. If you haven't watched this dude, monster of a man. Think, you remember Kofi Coburn at Illinois a few years ago? That kind of dude. He's, 7 foot, 270 pounds, the number 1 center in the 2026 class. He's the guy who all last week when Arkansas was out there at Peach Jam, the mecca of high school basketball events, grassroots season, they were leaving Peach Jam to go watch this kid play every time he had a game. And they've been prioritizing him the entire summer. Now he's scheduled for a visit. He'll be here for the Alabama A&M football weekend, and they'll have him down there on the sidelines before the game, and he'll be the biggest guy down there. And there's an SEC football team. It doesn't make any sense, but he is a monster. So if you're the type of person who appreciates the old school, traditional kind of big man who's just a bruiser who will push you around, dunk on you, and like Shaq used to, he's that kind of guy, but he's also skilled. He's a really good passer, got a little bit of a jumper that I think he can develop, and a lot of fun. I think he's clearly the best big man in the class, and Arkansas is in a really good spot for him. So like the top player at every position, they're getting lined up here for visits, and Arafan's the next in line there. So shout out to him. Best of the weekend for me, because he's going to wind up being probably a top 15 prospect in the class, and he'll have, the consensus 5-star and everything. There are higher ranked players who are going to visit to Arkansas and maybe commit to Arkansas, but Arafan's at the very, very top of my personal list. I think he'd be a great get. Let Kenny Payne whisper in that boy's ear.
Man, the 2026 class, man, a lot of intriguing possibilities. You can really let the imagination run wild there a little bit. For my best of the weekend, I've got to take a quick deviation away from sports for just a moment. I got two actually. I want to shout out a couple local performing artists in the music world. I spent my Saturday night at George's Lounge. I had never been. Curtis, have you been to George's before?
No.
I'd never been either. It's like, I knew it was a cool place. I knew that like they do live music and stuff, but like I just never had a reason to go. But we went there Saturday night. Abby Pierce, a good friend of mine, good friend of Hillary's, and her husband. Shout out to Jacob. He's a friend. He's a fan of ours. Got to see her. She's awesome, and we've been supporting her music career. She works 9 to 5 at JB Hunt, but also is like a recording artist. Has like songs on Spotify, songs on Apple Music. She recently went to Nashville for like songwriting and stuff. So she's like on that brink of like about to quit her day job to really focus on this. But it was cool to see her at George's. They tore the house down. And Gavin Summerall, another local Arkansas artist, country music guy, he did a good job too. So it was cool to see them. Wanted to shout those guys out. Go check them out on Spotify. Abby Pierce, ABBEY, Pierce, like my name, my first name, Pierce. Go check them out on Spotify. Give them some love. My other best of the weekend, and John, I think it's going to lead us right into your worst of the weekend. My best of the weekend is the actual movie theaters. One, I've talked about this a lot this summer. It's been a big summer for the box office. A lot of Jurassic World made a ton of money. Superman just cracked 500 mil. Fantastic Four had 218 mil on their opening weekend. So like people are going to the movies, which just makes me happy as a fan of society and the movie industry. But y'all remember like 3 or 4 years ago when everything was going straight to streaming, obviously COVID had just happened. And there was a conversation where it was like, are the movie theaters going to even exist anymore? Like, will it? I was kind of worried it might go away from that. I feel like Happy Gilmore coming out this weekend, not in the movie theater, and not being received super well by general audiences. Although I don't know, it's controversial. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm just happy that people are going to the movie theaters. I have not gone to see Fantastic Four yet, so I don't even have thoughts on the movie. But I just like seeing the numbers and seeing that a lot of folks are taking their fam to the movies this summer. It's what America was founded on. That's what we got to do.
No, and it's good to see it back too, because if it's the movie going experience is still an enjoyable one as long as you allow it to be. But that is a good one. But real quick, I forgot about this one. Just a real quick best shout out to Nick Kurtz, man. Like one of the best games.
That was my worst, actually.
Okay, well, I was just gonna say it's like pretty good game for him. So I'll let you do the worst since I already gave my best. But my worst, I got a couple of these I'll work through. But Happy Gilmore too, man. I diehard Happy Gilmore fan. In fact, it's my favorite Adam Sandler movie. It was one of the first ones I've seen. So many quotes still to this day. And I know that when things come out, sequels and whatnot, it's never going to be as good as the first. Very rarely, which again, we'll talk about in the summer topics. Very rarely it's ever as good. And I didn't have like high hopes for it, but just going in, it was fine. It had moments. But when you're relying on cameos nonstop to kind of drive the movie, it just doesn't do anything for me. So if you liked it, that's fine. I'm not saying it was the worst movie I've ever seen and it was absolute garbage. It just felt like it was not done as well as it could have been. But I did want to give a shout out to John Daly. Played a lot in it. and had some pretty fun scenes from that. But just a lot of cameos, a lot of throwbacks, a lot of all those things. It was fine. If you haven't seen it, I encourage you to watch it if you're a Happy Gilmore fan. But I don't know, people that were saying that it was great, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just going to be honest with you. But either way, that was definitely one of my worst. It's just, I don't know what I was expecting, but Adam Sandler, it was an Adam Sandler movie nowadays, not the Adam Sandler of the 90s. Adam Sandler lately, where, hey, let's just get my friends together and let's do things. And that's all it was.
Bag chasing is what Adam Sandler's doing these days, bro. He's, Adam Sandler, you can not like his movie. He's in there counting that money, man. He don't care. Yeah. He's getting bags.
Yeah. That's why I don't hate on him for it. Cause it's like, I get it, but it's still, it's just, I feel like there was just an opportunity there you could have had, and it could have been much better, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah. I wasn't offended by it. I mean, it was not great. I guess I think the people who really, really enjoyed it, they just played off the nostalgia a ton. It took a turn, like, I'm not going to give anything away, but like 3 minutes in where I was like, wait, what the heck? And that played into the entire storyline. I just wasn't expecting that. But the John Daly stuff was, that was cool. And there was some of the throwback stuff where I was like, oh, haha, yeah, I remember that. That's cool. That's great. Some of it I thought was just overplayed, and I kind of rolled my eyes at it. It's what you're going to get. But I'm kind of with you there on the overall experience, John and Andrew. You haven't watched it yet, Andrew, right?
I have not. I'm gonna have to knock it out this week.
Okay. I figured we were going to talk about it, so I was kind of bits and piecing my way through it throughout the morning this morning. So, but yeah, whatever. My worst of the weekend, Grok.
Dude.
Grok. I'm so sick of, oh my gosh. Hey, Grok, who's the most famous person to have visited my profile? Don't tag him. Just let me know. Copy paste. Give me a break. Gosh, man, this has got to stop. Hey, Grok, who's the most notable person that's blocked my profile on X? Let me know. Copy paste. Driving me nuts, man. I couldn't do anything on the X app. I like the X app. I like old Twitter.
I do too.
Basketball highlights, figure out what's going on in sports. I get all my Cardinals news from there. UFC stuff going on this weekend. So I'm checking the clips of that. The guy with his face popping out because he got punched in the face so many times. But I can't see any of that because every time I scroll, 5 out of every 6 things is, oh, hey, Grok, who's the cool person that's checked out my profile? Let me know. Yeah.
I did see
so sick of it.
One person asked Grok for the most famous person, whatever, and it was John Neighbors was the most famous person that had visited their profile. I was like, wow.
I did not see that, and that's sad if that's the case.
Really pretty funny.
Golly, I'm with you, Curtis, because listen, I get trends and all that, but if you want to know, I know I'm probably going to upset somebody, but I don't care. If you want to know the people that really care about who follows them and who doesn't, and care about followers and care about like that number, what it means, just look at the people that were tweeting that stuff, because it's like that's the stuff that they want to know. Like, oh man, did someone famous? Like, someone famous look at me? Or, oh man, who has me blocked that I don't realize it, so I can be like, hey, what's wrong, man? It was over the top, and I liked your tweet because I did the same thing. I just muted Grok. It's like, listen, if you want to use Grok, that's fine, but for that nonsense, man, get it out of my timeline. This is why, Curtis, in our conversation in Auburn, where I'm like, I am selective on who I follow. I don't follow these people because that's just nonsense all the time. So,
and honestly, I already unmuted it. Like, it's whatever, but I could just see that was the trend, and I don't care. Like, that's cool. It's fine. Like, whatever you want to know, who's been checking out my, whatever. Okay. Fine. I get it. It's neat. It's a trend. Okay. But it was literally at one point I was kind of going through it, and it was 19 out of 20 on my timeline. And I was like, this is crazy, man. I got to turn this thing off for the day. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I'm with you. That was a tough one. I really appreciate
you. And if anybody's calling me a loser for not doing that, then you might need to look in the mirror and reevaluate a little bit. Just going to throw that out there.
People can do what they do, but if you're publicly talking to the search engine and hanging out with the search engine, we just might not be buddies. You might not be our kind of people. But
hey, Grok, is this true? Is it true, Grok?
I thought your tweet was so funny, dude. Oh. Well, I've got a couple worse of the weekend. Did y'all see LaMelo Ball's tattoo?
Oh no,
bro might have got the worst tattoo of all time. They hit this boy with the Cheetos. The Cheetos.
No, that's not real. That's not real. There's no way.
So I'm not 100% sure. I'm like fairly sure it's real though. Because I haven't heard LaMelo himself deny it. I think LaMelo might have went and got the Cheetos.
Like it's
so bad.
Like if it's assuming this is real, assuming this actually happened, like you had your toes with a knee, like, I mean, that's just something that I feel like is so painful and had to hurt so bad. And to go through every single toe, I'm wondering does the bottom of his foot have it? Like, is it all the way around the toe or is it just the top? I don't know. But dude, if this is real, man.
That's rough, man. Very rough.
LaMelo Ball is the gift that keeps on giving. Ever since he was like 13 years old, this dude's just an internet gold mine. He just his entire existence is framed to get old people to shake their fist at the things that he does. And this honestly might be his worst offense of all the things he's done, which is, and he's really not that controversial of a human being, but just like all the annoying clips of him cussing out his teammates, cussing out his coaches or whatever. I think this is the most offensive thing LaMelo Ball has done.
That's crazy, man.
Dude, that's again, I'm going to be that old man. I'll be like, how much did that cost, dude? Like, how much was that? Was it worth it? Like, who's going to see it? Are you walking around barefoot all the time where people will see it? I mean, you're wearing chacos or flip flops, like, it's whatever.
Crazy. My other worst of the weekend, John, you mentioned it there. Nick Kurtz, the outfielder for the Athletics, had a historic game against the Astros. 4 home runs. What's crazy about it? He scored 6 runs, which actually had happened fewer times in MLB history than the 4 home run game. Like, I can't remember the list of it. I think it's like 18 people or something like that have hit 4 home runs in a game. There's only like 7 people ever who have scored 6 runs in a game, and the game got out of hand, and a couple of the home runs were kind of in garbage time, but I think 3 of them were Oppo or something like that. He's having an unreal rookie year. Good for him. The Athletics suck, but he's good. The Astros had a rough week. I almost made just the Astros my worst of the weekend. Just got 4 games swept by the Athletics, who are last place in the division, and the Astros are still on top of the division, but I mean, the Astros had the best record in the AL like 3 days ago. And so getting swept by the Athletics is tough. But I also wanted to shout out Nick Kurtz because there's multiple college players who have gone straight to professional baseball and like gone to the MLB and like had a lot of success. Like obviously Caglianone in Kansas City is already up there. Paul Skeens is played college baseball just a couple years ago. The Astros have a couple guys, Bryce Matthews, Cam Smith, who played college baseball last year. Like it's really cool to see this. And I think it's just another testament to why kids should go to college, especially if you're a position player. Make it work.
No kidding. No kidding,
man. Just a couple of worst of the weekend. One's actually bad, and the other one is on a lighter note. But I saw someone in the chat say it too. This stuff that happened at Devil's Den was awful. Like, I mean, that's just terrible.
Yeah.
I know that they're still, or at least from what I understand, like still trying to find there's 2 people, a married couple of like 43 and 41 years old were murdered there and stabbed to death in front of their kids. And the kids are luckily survived, but they witnessed it. And it's just awful. It's an awful situation. And so hopefully they find who it was that it did. Because, I mean, listen, I know that tragedies happen all the time, all over the world. But when it happens in a place like here, Northwest Arkansas, and like at Devil's Den, which is, a place that I feel like almost everybody who's lived up here has been before, something like that is just, it's awful. So that was another worst of the weekend to see of not just it happening, but the fact that there's still that person on that's loose, and hopefully they find them, man. So that was terrible.
Yeah, that's scary. And I haven't checked today to see if there are any more like clues or leads or anything like that. But the stuff initially was just like medium built guy with, like particularly what he was wearing. Like he didn't have a whole bunch to go off there, that was at least made public. I was like, man, that's rough. Yeah, scary stuff. And hope they catch who did it, and just hate that. So, for everyone, obviously, but the kids, that's terrifying, man. I hate that.
It really is horrible. And like you said, John, it's weird because like Fayetteville's not really, if you think of like dangerous places to live, I don't think Northwest Arkansas is super high up on the list. And, I grew up in Alexandria, which is, I think at one point Alexandria was top 10 per capita, like most murder, most crime in the United States. Obviously Louisiana has several spots, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, not good place to live. Little Rock, as you guys know, like not necessarily a happy sunshine place. Fayetteville doesn't really have that, like it's always comforting to me. And Hillary's from Houston. So we grew up with that, like, kind of nervous, not know what to do. Like, we make sure we lock our cars, make sure we lock everything. But like Fayetteville, it's been nice to live here and like be like, oh yeah, it's just a happy, stuff doesn't really happen. In our neighborhood here is like pretty normal. And so it's kind of even crazier when something like this happens. And nature's scary, and I love going to Devil's Den. But man, that's for something to happen like that at a place like that. It's definitely like it definitely freaked me out a little bit for sure.
Yeah, no, it was awful. But I mean, on a lighter note though, because we don't want to completely dampen the mood. This is also something that it's a big no from me. That happened over the week. I'm gonna play this video for you guys. A roller coaster broke, and those are people that are having to walk down a roller coaster, like just to get off the roller coaster because it broke down. I'm like, absolutely not, in no way.
Do they have stairs up there, or like?
I think that they do have stairs, but they're very, small because they're usually made for like just one maintenance person or whatever. But yeah, this is a big no from me. Big no from me. So
the way they're walking made me think they're like because they're not moving fast at all. I was like, what are they standing on top of? Like, are they just like sliding down a rail, or like that's horrifying.
Yeah, I don't know. I like roller coasters and all, but yeah, see, that's where it was stuck up there. I guess it could have been worse. Could have been stuck upside down or something, but still, yeah.
My lawyers would be getting involved.
Yeah, I'm sure they will be. Anyways, yeah, no thanks from me on that.
No, I think I'm good on that one.
Did y'all happen to see Dave Aranda's comments the other day?
Yes.
I almost included it in my worst of the weekend, just like, but I don't know. It's actually one of those, I couldn't tell if it was best or worst. Dave Aranda's comments, if anybody's curious, just look up Dave Aranda.
Yep.
He made some headlines the other day.
I said, yeah, the comments, I'm not going to lie, guys. At first, I thought it was somebody did those AI things like we've seen with like Cal doing the AI. He's like, my suit's Armani, by the way. I've lost to this guy who dresses like like it's AI and it looks really legit. That's what I thought it was at first because I'm like, oh, okay, one of these. And then I found out, nope, that was actually what he said. Like, okay, cool. It's crazy, man. Yeah, that is pretty rough. But
whoa. I got one I got to share. Yeah. We don't care if we go a little bit long today, right?
Nah, no one's listening anyways.
Okay, good. I told you guys about this. I want to know how people in the chat would have reacted in a similar situation. I guess it's worst of the weekend, but it actually wound up being really funny. Anyway, I was up real late Saturday night, just building some things for the nursery and everything. And I didn't go to bed until like almost sunrise. So I took the dog out at like 5 o'clock, gave him a little breakfast, and went to sleep. It was like 7:30 in the morning. Sunday morning, I guess it was. And I hear the dog going crazy, and I hear my wife freaking out. She comes running in, and she's like, there's somebody in our backyard freaking out. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, call 911. I grabbed a baseball bat because I didn't know what was going on. And I go out, and as I'm going out towards the back, I see, and then I told her, why don't you hold off on that phone call for a second? There was a drunk college kid TKO'd in his boxers on my patio chair in the backyard, out cold, knocked out cold. And so, for a frame of reference, I have neighbors who are college kids. And so what I'm guessing is, I don't know if he was over there or meant to be over there or whatever, and just popped to the wrong house. And he just happened to be in the backyard, knocked out. It was the craziest thing, man. And so I, basically shoved him off the chair, trying to wake him up, shaking him like, yo, wrong yard, asshole, and the guy wakes up, and at first he's just like, who are you? I'm like, what do you mean? Who am I? Like, this is my yard, dude. And, the look that overcame his face of like the realization of, I don't know where I'm at. I'm not supposed to be here. This is bad. Dude was super apologetic. He was like, man, my bad. I'm so sorry. I don't know how I got back here. I'm like, yeah, no shit. I know. I get it. The craziest thing, man, I said, you're probably meant to be next door. And he was kind of looking around. He was like, oh my God. Yeah. I think you're right. I'm so sorry. And so I sent him on his way. We didn't call the cops. Didn't try to kill him or anything like that. But just the craziest thing, man. And it's funny in hindsight, but a lot of people probably wouldn't have handled that the way I did. Like, I was getting ready to go out there with a bat, and other people have stuff that's a little bit more dangerous than that. You better be careful where you go and what you do, especially when you're stumbling around after what'd you say, John? Christmas in July, man. It gets the best of everybody. But it was nuts. And the craziest thing about it is I was out back at 5 a.m. and nobody was there. And then at 7:30 was. It's like an all-night bender.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, Lou, with a pregnant wife in the house, dude, like you'd be well within your rights to respond however the hell you want to respond. Honestly, like that's some crazy stuff. So you determined that he probably was trying to go next door, right?
May or may not have been a walk-on football player.
Gotcha. Well, that's what I was kind of thinking. I'm like, it has to be your neighbor because like you're kind of close to the square, but you're not like so close to the square that like kids are walking from Grubbs over to your house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yep.
He better be glad that you weren't armed with a can of beans or anything like that, because it would have been knockout city, if it's all that. But I don't know. It's just that would be one of the things. Again, I don't know how I'd handle it because I'm sure there's not like a protocol for what you're doing in that situation. But because my dog's not going to do anything. Rowdy's just going to sit there and pass out and fall over. So it's not like he's going to protect me. But that could have been a lot worse, as you said. Like, I know it's funny in the thing, but man, if he goes in somebody's place, if somebody's in the backyard and it's dark and they're not responding or whatever, I mean, people, and guess what? They do it. That's on you for passing out and being that way. So, golly, that was scary, but funny. Which, by the way, I hope I don't out you here, Curtis, but when in our group text, when we have an early morning text from Curtis that just says, well, I've had an eventful effing morning. And I'm like, me and Andrew basically had the same response. We're like, well, don't like that because, we're knowing that as, Slim's had his issues and we know that you got a pregnant wife. We're like, oh, man, this is bad. I was not expecting that to be the eventful morning that was going on. So,
yeah, well, and that's what initially really triggered me about the whole thing. Because like kids party, whatever. You weren't trying to get in my, like, okay, fine. Go back where you belong, whatever. But I do have the sick dog that has been freaking out. It's got like anxiety issues and everything. My wife's she's 7 months pregnant and she's under the weather. She's not feeling well. And so then she's all freaked out about it. So, that part of it irritated me, but crazy.
Yeah. No, I was wondering if you were going to bring that up because that was definitely that was a story. I'm telling you, and this is, and folks, the stories we have among us three, these aren't just made up exaggerations. Like, this is the stuff that happens to us. We don't know if it's normal and that happens to everybody else, and we just live in our own worlds where we're doing live streams. We just talk about it, but it's pretty incredible some of the weird things that continue to happen to us as individuals and collectively among us. It's crazy.
We gave Northwest Arkansas too much credit. We were like, oh, shit, nothing crazy ever happens here. I mean, John's had his vehicle assaulted. I mean, he's had all kinds of crazy things happen to him in Fayetteville.
Mm-hmm. Yep. My hometown's going downhill, man. Got keys, trucks getting keyed and people, getting stabbed, and then college kids in their boxers passing out in backyards, man. They just
crazy.
Got to clean up the streets. Got to get out there with it. So, man, we'll have some more of your chats, but we also, of course, got to get into our summer topics here on the show, and it's presented by our friends over at the Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. We're going to be there for a live show on August 13th, Wednesday, August 13th, down there in Hot Springs at Lake Hamilton. So really looking forward to that, but just know, folks, that it's summertime and it is hot outside. You want to be on a body of water. You want to be on a lake here in the state of Arkansas. Well, Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas is going to have you covered because they give you access to a boat without all the commitments, without all the maintenance, without all the cleanings, without all the things that you have to do whenever you own a boat. They rent it out to you. They got 3 locations in Arkansas, whether it's Greers Ferry Lake, Lake Hamilton, or the river there, the Arkansas River, that is, down in Little Rock, with also more locations coming soon here in the state. Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas will help make your summer in the natural state the best one yet. You can check out their website at freedomboatclubar.com. That's freedomboatclubar.com to learn more about the benefits of joining the club with Freedom Boat Club of Arkansas. So, okay. We'll get to our summer topics here. As we know, sports, food, entertainment, have all that. So going with kind of full circle of what we discussed in the beginning part of the show, and I always have to do favorite because people can argue about what's best because we've all been alive different amount of years. But what is your favorite Razorback football field goal ever kicked in the history of the sport? Not basketball, because I knew people were going to say that, but field goal. So one that just pops into your mind. I'll even accept extra points too, if needs be.
I wish I could dig a little deeper, but there was just something that hit different about Cam Little not only walking it off in Death Valley, but hitting the gritty after he did it. I mean, that was electric, man. It doesn't get much better than that. The legend was born on that day. So it's really hard for me to get past that. I know some people will point out the what was his name? Scott Little? Little, whatever. Steve Little. Yeah, they hit the 67-yarder way back when. I wasn't even aware of that until like last year when somebody brought it up. Or maybe it was like, we're 67 days away from Razorback football, and I saw the video. I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. Before my time, that was epic. But I'm big on the celebrations. And so if you walk off somebody on their own turf and then you hit the gritty, it's pretty good in my book.
The Cam Little one's definitely up there for me. I mean, anytime you beat LSU, it's going to be hard to top that for me. I felt like it made up for Alex Tejada missing a kick in overtime in that same field. And so, can't take it for granted. The only thing is, it was like a 34-yard field goal or something like that.
I think it was 37, and he hit
so it wasn't like
50 yards or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. You mentioned it earlier, John. I think Connor Limpert in 2017. Now, Arkansas finished 4-8 that year, so it was not a super consequential quick kick. But do you remember, he hadn't played much at all, and they kept icing him, and he was just vibing. And like he actually went kind of viral because he was like bobbing his head and like dancing a little bit. And they were like, wow, this dude's got some swag, bro. What's going on? And it was like just this random walk-on kicker who wound up having a pretty good career for Arkansas as a kicker. That one was cool. So Curtis, I'm glad you mentioned the Steve Little one. Obviously, I was also not alive. None of us were alive, right? It was 1977 or something like that.
True. So
none of us were alive, and it was against Texas. At the time, is it still tied for the NCAA record? Nobody, I haven't seen anybody kick a field goal that long in a while, right?
Yeah, I think it's still tied. I'm pretty sure. If it's not, it's at least the top three.
Yeah, I know it. And obviously, of course, at the time it was, which is kind of crazy that like kickers, I guess, have gotten worse. But my dad and his best friend, Mark Lewis, God rest his soul, hell of a man. Pastor Mark, crazy Mark. They used to talk about Steve Little like that dude was freaking the Pope, man. Like they worshiped this guy, and they were like, he was the best kicker ever. And apparently there were like 3 other kickers in college football that year, because I think it tied the record, which was also set in that same season or something like that. Like there were multiple kickers who nationally everyone was like, oh, watch out, this guy's lining up for a kick, we gotta watch. And if you look at the numbers, they were like 12 for 17 or something like that. Like they weren't even like good on paper, but they had these boots, man. And so even though I wasn't alive for it, the Steve Little kick is still one that like I heard about so much growing up because my dad and his best friend loved Steve Little, who also, God rest his soul.
I think it was, Andrew, it was the record got broken 3 times in one game. Like as Arkansas played Texas, and it's like Steve Little broke it, and then the Texas kicker broke it like for 1 more yard, and then Steve Little broke it. I'm pretty sure. But yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing 68-yard field goals consistently anymore. Not as much as it used to be, but definitely, Steve Little is going to be known for that. I got one that is, because listen, you could have gone this. Okay, Connor Limpert. I think Cam Little definitely is the most recent one without question, because the gritty was hilarious out there. But one that I bring up, and I'm not even bringing up the ECU Alex Tejada Liberty Bowl game. Like, not even doing that. The one, guys, is actually an extra point for me, and it was in the Miracle on Markham Part 1. People forget in this game that Arkansas, of course, we all remember Matt Jones to Birmingham. It meant going to Atlanta, all that. Arkansas was tied with LSU at 20. David Carlton, because Arkansas celebrated too much, they got a penalty and they got backed up. And David Carlton was a struggling kicker that year. Like he was like 50%. And he booted the extra point, which I think it ended up being, what is that, 15 yards? I'm doing the math here, like a 30 some odd, 38-yard field goal, something, 35, whatever. But he ended up making it. And it's just one of those things I remember. I was like, dude, could you imagine if like the Miracle on Markham happened, but then he missed the extra point? Like Arkansas lost in overtime, how differently that would be remembered. But yeah, that was a big one. And I don't want to bring up negative stuff, but like we were talking about, I was like, man, Arkansas is definitely, they don't have a whole lot of game-winning field goals made, but man, they had some, had a lot of opportunities to make some game-winning field goals that didn't go in.
Can I rattle off a couple good misses?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Because because now I'm reading it. It says, "What's your favorite field goal ever kicked in Razorback football history?" That doesn't necessarily mean one by a Razorback and one that went in. So I'm going to give that Mississippi State miss in 2021, where Pittman hit. I knew he was going to miss it thing. Like that was a classic, best Pittman presser of all time, without a doubt. I'm also going to go TCU, and this is a random one. Now Dan Skipper blocked this one. Arkansas wins an overtime game. I guess it was 3 overtimes or 2 or 3 overtimes against TCU. And they had blown a huge lead and then ended up being down by 8, then put together an awesome drive, tied the game at 28. Cavante Turpin, who's still in the NFL today, ran back the opening or the kickoff from with like 30 seconds left, runs it all the way back to like the 25. They end up having like a very kickable field goal, and Dan Skipper blocked it. That was electric, and Dan Skipper blocked like 7 kicks in his Razorback career. It was unreal. Those just kind of came to my mind as I was reading the question.
Well, I was going to throw in too real quick. I thought you were going to bring up the TCU game the next year in Fayetteville. Will Cole Hedlund doinked 3 field goals, not missed, doinked them. And I just had the video pulled up, but like there has never been a louder doink in the history of college football than that third one. And just the react, because I remember that it was a meme. There's this Razorback fan. You could tell he was drunk and hot and miserable. And he's just kind of like staring into the abyss, like doing this, and just sits there forever. Just I could not believe it. But
did we ever decide what we're going to call Cam Little's Texas A&M? It wasn't a doink.
No.
Yeah, no.
I just don't know what you call that when it lands on top of the upright. I don't even know what to say about that. But that was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. You
know who ruined that game for Arkansas? The 3 most reliable players on that team. Correct. KJ Jefferson had the horrible Superman thing. Ricky Stromberg, right before the kick, just whiffs on a snap, like just snaps the ball over KJ's head, which backed the kick up like 5 or 6 yards. Didn't seem like a big deal. And then the most reliable kicker on the team or in the country misses the kick. It was actually kind of crazy because it's like those are our guys. It's like those are the ones that screwed us.
And not to bring up old things too, but people forget Arkansas was number 8 in the country at that game. They were number 8 in the country.
Indeed.
Sucks. Sorry. Okay, we got to move on to more positive stuff. How about this for the food side of things? What is the food item that you can eat hot or cold and it still be awesome?
Okay, I thought about this a little bit, and I'm not going to take the easiest answer. Michelle gets so irritated anytime we have leftover. I can eat anything cold, and sometimes maybe it's better hot. But when I'm hungry, man. I don't have time for microwaves, and sometimes I don't like the way things heat up in a microwave. Do I want to do the air fryer thing? Do I want to clean it after? There's a lot of factors that go into this. So I will eat a lot of stuff cold. I'm gonna go with the Thanksgiving leftovers, the turkey sandwiches the next day. You know what I mean? You get the turkey, it's fresh out of the oven. You have your Thanksgiving dinner. It's awesome. It's great. But the next day it just hits a little bit different. You know, put it between some white bread, whatever. That is going to be my answer. And I love them both either way.
I like that. Here's a random one that I kind of just thought of. So one, like pizza, of course, is probably the go-to answer. I think people will say here, you can eat it hot or cold. I don't know why I've always felt this way. So I'm not a big breakfast guy, but on the weekends, if you cook breakfast and just leave it there all day at like 9 p.m., you can grab a slice of bacon and it's still going to be good. Eggs, maybe not. Although I've eaten cold eggs before and had no problem with it, but like biscuits or like just whatever it is, little sausage links. I feel like if you leave breakfast just sitting out there, it'll get eaten throughout the day. Right? Yeah. We used to do that in my house growing up a lot. Also, a lot of desserts like cookies, of course, hot, cold, doesn't really matter. Brownie or like anything like that. I'm a big fan of food that you can just make and then just set there and then just let it do its thing for a while. You don't have to like worry about like putting it up. Oh, do we need a refrigerator? All that. So I love anything like that.
I'm going to go with, I got 2. Pop-Tarts is one for me because for some reason, like I just depending on, I can eat it. And which, by the way, I should have reiterated this. If it cold and hot can also mean something that's normally cold, but then warms up because it's room temperature, or like you mentioned with breakfast, is hot at one time and then gets to room temperature, goes cold. So we can count that. But the weird one I have, guys, and I've always had this, SpaghettiOs with hot dog Franks in it.
You just pour it out of the can?
I eat it straight out of the can.
Nah, you lost
I
me.
don't know about this one, bro.
I don't know. That's not valid, bro.
I don't know, man.
Not valid.
Yep. I pop the can open with a spoon and I eat the SpaghettiOs with the little Franks. And they don't make the SpaghettiOs with Franks anymore. But that was my thing, man.
Oh man, I don't know. My
I've
roommate in college would open up the can of the Chef Boyardee raviolis, and he'd eat those straight out.
Nah,
Yeah.
dude. I eat those Chef Boyardee ravioli once a week for dinner.
Mhm.
Can't eat them cold, dude. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, John. I don't know, man. I'd like to say I'll try it, but I don't think I will.
No. Listen, I'm not sitting here trying to say, hey, you guys are the weirdos for not eating SpaghettiOs out of the can. Trust me, I know it's weird. But for whatever reason, man, there's just this. I tried it one time and I think it just made it easy. And I was like, this is easier than having to heat it up and put it in a bowl and just eat it straight out of the can.
It's not that hard to put it in the bowl. I'm just gonna be honest. It's not that hard to eat.
Yeah, once you open the can, you just turn it over. But
ravioli does get stuck on the lip, though. It does get stuck on the lip.
How often do you do this? Like, is this the thing you still do?
Oh no, I mean, again, they stopped making it. I
didn't know.
Yeah,
okay.
well, like if you threw me right now a can of SpaghettiOs with Franks, and just like right now, I would eat it. Like I just open the can and eat it, and I'd be fine. So, yeah, I don't know why. It was just something. I think it was when I was in college because everyone's like, "Oh, ramen noodles." I was like, "Nah, I go a little higher end. I get the 98-cent cans of SpaghettiOs and go that route."
This fascinates me.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Jinx, poke, oh yeah, Coke. I was just gonna say this fascinates me because John is like, you're not a picky eater. Picky eater is not the word for it, but it just doesn't strike me as a John Neighbors thing to do. That's all. Yeah.
I was just gonna ask, have y'all ever eaten ramen noodles raw?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I think my buddies used to do that in college. We would just take the bag and you before you open it, you just kind of crush it up a little bit and then just dump in the little sauce in there and then just shake it up a little bit and just kind of have chips.
Well, maybe it sounds like what we got to do is here on a live stream at some point, maybe the members only live stream. We're just going to buy a can of SpaghettiOs of Franks if we can find them. And we're going to do an experiment. And
we should get food involved in those.
Yeah. Well, idea. Yeah, we need to get food in some way involved. So, and then finally, before we get to our final chats here, because we're talking about Happy Gilmore too and everything, entertainment, what is the greatest sequel of all time? Not a reboot, a sequel of all time for a movie for you.
The answer, and listen, this is not even me as, obviously as a nerd, I've got to defend my nerd stuff, but this is objective. The best sequel of all time is The Empire Strikes Back. One, the fact that that Star Wars is still a thing is kind of proof that it had the most successful, best sequel of all time. Everyone says that's the best Star Wars movie. It's not my favorite, but everyone asks, hey, what's the best Star Wars movie? Most people say Empire Strikes Back. It's better than the original. It's like I feel like it's the best sequel of all time, but there are some good ones. I see Evan Baker just came in with Dark Knight, which technically, definitely counts as a sequel. Mm-hmm. It's up there. There's some good ones. Godfather 2, pretty good.
Yeah. Kingsley nabbed mine, man. Next Friday. It's one of my favorites. It's just hilarious, man.
Is next Friday better than Friday?
I think it's comparable. I wouldn't say it's better, but it's good, man.
Because I think really we could just do that list of how many sequels are actually for real viewed as better than the original. And I know that's a different question, but it's I feel like that's a good one too, where it's how many fit that criteria?
Yeah. Toy Story 2.
It's a good one.
Yes, that's one of the best ones for sure.
That's good.
What about Home Alone 2?
Dude, I'm with you on that too.
Okay.
I'm on that train.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm quite there with you again because I just think Home Alone's better than Lost in New York.
I mean, it was the same concept, but you had Tim Curry in it, so it was better. I mean, and Rob Schneider was in it, so it's better. And our president, Donald Trump, was in it, so it was better. No, those are good ones that Dark Knight, all that. I like Terminator 2. I don't know if people were Terminator fans, but Terminator 2 is really good. But to me, guys, you're not going to be surprised by this. Top Gun Maverick, best sequel of all time, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's really good.
Yeah.
Years in the making, I like that one. I feel like there was another one that was at the tip of my tongue.
Well, everybody on Twitter, and I see people in the chat. In fact, a Heartbroken Hog even comes in with a few of them that we listed. But one of them, everyone was saying Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. I was not a Lord of the Rings fan, nothing against it, but a lot of people said the Two Towers, which is the Two Towers, and not some people that tweeted me the Twin Towers. That's not what the Lord of the Rings sequel is called, so do not do that.
Although it did come out right around that time.
Yeah, but not the same. But I know people said that too. Was another one.
I was at Sam's Furniture Saturday, and they were playing Top Gun Maverick on one of the TVs. You know, they had that like the little living room setups, and it was mid-mission. I just stopped there for a minute and watched. But like some of the olds were walking around, listening to it, and they're like, "All right, what's going on in here?
Yeah,
recliner."
Yeah,
I like that. Last one I have, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
Which I saw on opening night, and I got to skip kindergarten the next day. That was awesome. It's better than it's better than the first one. It was very successful. I think it's the best Spider-Man movie ever. So that's my last submission.
Yeah. Well, and I'll tell you this, as far as with Top Gun Maverick, going back to it at the very end, man. Thank you for saving my life. It's what my dad would have done. Gets me every time. Gets me every time in the feels. So
is Val Kilmer still with us?
No, he passed away just recently. Sadly. Yeah. And they just did it right. They did it the way that if you're going to wait 30 plus years to do a sequel, do it that way. For sure. A few of your chats before we roll out of here. Shout to Hunter O'Neill. Sorry, I missed the super chat, man. But he says, does TG win the Heisman? No.
Probably not.
Nah.
No. It'd be cool if he did, but no.
Be a lot cooler if you did.
Yeah. Ain't going to happen. Let's see. Kaiser just says, pretty sure I just dropped off an Amazon package to Andrew's house.
I saw this at the beginning of the show.
I don't like this. But two, right as when I read that chat, I looked over and realized my blinds are open, and like it's not a huge deal, you know. We got a lot of plants, so we need to. But I just realized I was like people driving by can absolutely peek in a little bit and see me just riffing here.
Oh, well, again, yeah, just don't dox him. Just don't dox him if you're going to do that. Let's see. Smelly it said, I got my merch from the members only stream. Good. Said my wife saw the package addressed to Smelly it, and she was very much wondering what the hell was happening.
That's fantastic.
Listen, whatever information that y'all gave to Curtis and Andrew, they relayed to me the exact information. And if you did not have your real name anywhere, I'm going by what the username is. And trust me, Shopify, it's tough to put in the name like Smelliot, like, because you have to have a first and last. So I had to put S Melliot. And so that way it worked out perfectly for you.
I wondered how you did that, but that's actually pretty cool.
It's
yeah.
good.
It's like, what? I don't know what else I was going to do. I was like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I got to get this guy's name. I'm like, it's for Smelliot. He'll have to, it's what will happen. So, but I'm glad you got the apparel there. Shout out to Randy. He says, man, I love you guys. And I love this show. And I got to say, you guys really have taken Arkansas sports talk to another level for me. Well, thanks, Randy.
Thank you.
That means a lot.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah. Just wait until you actually have real stuff to talk about. You know, it's going to go to another level there this upcoming fall. Let's see. Dakota said when we were talking about the Grok thing, he says, I did indeed ask. It said John, then I deleted my whole account. Was his
I mean, obviously John's a celebrity. John's got a big following. That's a good thing. But I got to be honest, if I did it and it told me that John was the most famous person that visited my profile, I'd be a little bit bummed out.
Low key, that's why I didn't do it. I don't want to have that realization.
No. And and also on top of that too, it's like, it's not like you can hide it. Like people will see it and they'll be like, oh, oh, wow, you're a big celebrity. Look who followed you. It was, you know, over here it was Arkansas Sydney Sweeney or whatever. And it's like, oh man, watch out. Just crazy. Let's see.
What would you do, John? What if you did that and it was like the Sydney Sweeney?
That she looked at my profile?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, DM immediately.
Okay.
Immediately. I screenshot that and be like, listen, I get it. Understand it. It's but you were just gonna, if this is your way of shooting your shot with me, I appreciate it. And maybe we go out sometime. But she's too busy doing American Eagle ads that everyone's upset about, apparently. So
I would be worried about it being like the FBI account or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, we're on to you, buddy.
Yeah. Or if it was like, if you're, as you are, Curtis, married, or you, Andrew, in a serious relationship, And last thing you would want is probably like some like really like hot chick girl that's like the number one that's funny. You're like, oh no, it's not me. I
Can't really
I don't
celebrate
know.
it.
Yeah, like it's just Twitter, man. Grok, what does it know? You know, crazy. Let's see. Trey just said, John, was your podcast with I guess watch your podcast with SEC Mike before the interview with Drink or after? If it was before, would you change your answer now?
Oh, I see what he's asking here.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the place.
Yeah, because Mike didn't put it out until like the other day, right?
Yeah, well, he puts out clips and kind of redistributes it. But for those who are wondering, it was when he in the opening, he just asked me, would I trade Eli Drinkwitz for Sam Pittman or Sam Pittman for Eli Drinkwitz straight up right now? And I said no, which people were just like, oh, you're crazy. Like, what do you want me to say? Like that? It's like, yeah, straight up. The guy that I've been trashing the whole time, for sure. I'm close. Like, come on. I got to have the Missouri fans continue to hate me. And they're still in my mentions right now. So, I mean, got to play the part.
Also, if you're holding hands with your wife, you can't announce you would trade her for Dua Lipa. You know, you got to.
That's right. Can't do that. And also, I'm going to bring this up for Finch. He said, so I watched John's interview about covering Cal with the Kentucky sports radio media member, and some random dude literally comes up and slaps John and grabs his arm and calls him solid. LOL, that was legit.
Yeah, you paid that guy to do that.
Yeah, I did. It was Peter Burns, by the way. Just paid him. Because I don't know if y'all knew this. Wearing a DJ Wagner Razorback jersey at SEC Media Days is going to catch some eyeballs of like people being like, what's happening over there? Yeah. Some people appreciated my trolling of the Kentucky things, and other people there's some media members like, I don't agree with any of this. It's like, all right, just it's for fun.
The funniest thing about this is that it was literally KSR that created all that consternation during I can't remember where it was at. If it was March Madness or if it was the SEC tournament or whatever, where they were all wearing Kentucky gear.
Mm-hmm.
It was an Illinois beat writer, I believe.
Yeah,
and
that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's exactly what it was. You're right.
Yep.
And people were all bent out of shape about that. So good job turning that around on him, John. Well done.
Yeah, I like that. I made fun of Pilgrim when that happened, and I was like, ha, look at this idiot. And then I'll go to Omaha and wear a pinstripe jersey, and then if you're wearing a jersey in the Omaha press box, just know we all hate you. I'm like, okay, relax.
Yeah. Well, it's like if you're complaining about that, then I hate you, because it literally does not matter. But no, it was fun to talk with them, because I felt like we were the only two schools that were there that talk basketball at any stretch in any sort of capacity, and it was actually kind of fun and nice to have, and trolling them a little bit about DJ Wagner. I did say though, and I like Nick Rush, awesome dude, and one of the things he said, he's like, people are saying that, you know, until Inside Arkansas came into the Lions Den and did into the KS bar and did their shows, that's what gave Cal and the team the motivation to turn around. I was like, yeah, because we started it. We're like, hey, because Cal was like, man, if those guys are willing to go into the Lions Den, we can accomplish anything. So you're welcome.
We're
Cal.
all in the foxhole together, man.
That's right.
As Andrew says.
That's right. Yeah, it was pretty great. So, but either way, guys, any final thoughts before we roll out here for the day? Gone pretty long today. How about that?
I was going to say, yeah, almost 2 hours. We got a lot of thoughts in there today, but it was overdue. Good to have the band back together and everything. And I really genuinely am, by the day, getting more and more excited to begin this journey with Arkansas football, and excited about everything we have to come here. So appreciate everybody for tuning in and grinding it out during the dog days, but things are about to get real again. Buckle up.
I like that. Well, I'm also excited for football season. I'm getting more excited by the day. I'm excited for fall camp. I'm excited for the Bombastic Podcast episode later today with our guy, Jackson Kersher from Oklahoma, from Little Rock. Check that out. Love everyone.
There you have it. Yeah. And appreciate everybody listening in and watching. And be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas. Because again, if you think we're great now, just wait till we actually talk about real things that are going on. Because fall camp is reportedly going to be starting up this week for Arkansas. So be sure to subscribe to us here at Inside Arkansas on YouTube. You can also check out all of our audio podcasts wherever podcasts are found, whether it's Inside Arkansas Live, Pod at the Palace, or the Bombastic Podcast. You can also follow us on social media at Inside Arkansas. So that'll do it for us today. For Andrew Ellis, as well as Curtis Wilkerson, I am John Neighbors. Same sports show, same sports channel tomorrow afternoon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. We'll see you then.